China's Type 052D destroyer is so formidable, widely recognized as a world-class warship. But have you ever considered this question? If it's so powerful, why hasn't a single one been sold yet? Some even joke that even if we offered them for free, potential buyers would still have to weigh whether they dare accept them or can afford to maintain them. This might sound like bragging, but if you actually open the cold, hard ledger of global arms trade and set aside those thrilling performance specs, you'll find this statement, though absolute, hits upon a complex truth. For most nations, the 052Ds might doesn't represent a leap in capability, but rather an unbearably sweet burden. Let's start with the most tangible, inescapable calculation: money. Many fixate on the roughly 3.5 billion yuan price tag for the domestically operated variant, assuming a few wealthy allies could cover the down payment. But the fundamental difference between military procurement and consumer shopping is this: once the ship is paid for, the real expenses begin. The so-called full life cycle cost. Over a 30-year service life, maintenance and repair costs alone can account for nearly 60% of a modern destroyer's total expenses, exceeding its original purchase price. The Type 052D, with a full load displacement of over 7,000 tons and powered by a diesel-gas turbine combined propulsion system, sees its fuel consumption skyrocket with speed. For nations with already stretched defense budgets, the ongoing fuel costs of routine patrols represent a persistent financial burden, not to mention the steel hull constantly immersed in seawater, battling relentless corrosion from high salinity and humidity. Regular hull maintenance, coating reapplication, and precision component replacements each demands substantial investment. Yet more costly than routine upkeep is equipping its arsenal to deliver true combat capability. The core strength of the Type 052D lies in its 64-cell vertical launch system, capable of launching advanced munitions like the YJ-18 anti-ship missile with a range exceeding 400 kilometers and the HQ-9B missile for regional air defense. These are no ordinary shells, each represents a high-tech precision product. Simply equipping a single vessel with its basic ammunition complement can cost hundreds of millions of dollars or more. It's akin to an ordinary family suddenly owning a private jet. Behind the glamour lie astronomical hangar fees, fuel costs, and maintenance expenses, enough to instantly overwhelm a normal household. For many medium-sized nations with annual defense budgets of only tens of billions of dollars, pouring the majority or even the entirety of their naval budget into a single vessel leaves nothing for other ships, personnel, or base construction. This is undoubtedly a disastrous fiscal choice. While resource-rich nations might grit their teeth and squeeze funds for the cost, the manpower requirement presents an even more insurmountable barrier. The Type 052D is no relic of the past, relying solely on tonnage and artillery for dominance. It is a sophisticated combat network node integrating the 346A active phased array radar, an integrated command and control system, data links, and complex electronic warfare equipment. Operating such a warship requires not just sailors, but technical officers and petty officers proficient across multiple domains. Cultivating personnel capable of mastering these systems demands systematic higher education, extensive specialized training, and substantial simulation and hands-on practice, all underpinned by a nation's overall educational standards and industrial capabilities. Even with substantial investments in hiring original manufacturer instructors for hands-on training, without a deep domestic pool of skilled technicians and engineers as a backup, this formidable warship risks becoming an expensive yet crippled information island during critical moments, when confronted with complex battlefield electromagnetic environments, system failures, or software upgrades. Beyond personnel and funding, a frequently overlooked hardware requirement is the home port, the mother harbor. Vessels as large as the Type 052D impose stringent demands on berthing facilities, including water depth, load-bearing capacity, and shore power supply infrastructure. Many potential buyer nations' naval bases may still be equipped to accommodate only frigates of a few thousand tons. If they actually purchased the Type 052D, they would likely face the awkward situation of having a ship without a port. The vessel would be forced to remain anchored long-term in substandard anchorages, which not only severely impacts combat readiness and the ship's lifespan, but also dramatically increases safety risks. This is akin to purchasing a top-tier sports car, only to park it in a muddy, potholed field, utterly unable to unleash its performance. However, let us consider a hypothetical scenario. If a nation could afford the cost, cultivate the necessary personnel, and construct the required port facilities, would that guarantee success? Reality offers a more complex lesson. Modern high-end weapons transactions are never purely commercial, they are profound geopolitical statements. Acquiring core active-duty Chinese naval assets, like the Type 052D destroyer, is seen by the outside world, especially certain major powers, as a near-public declaration of strategic alignment, signifying the establishment of high-level military trust and cooperation with China. The consequences could include diplomatic pressure, technological blockades, or even economic sanctions from other parties. Turkey's exclusion from the F-35 program after purchasing Russia's S-400 air defense system serves as a stark warning, compelling any small or medium-sized nation attempting to balance between major powers to think twice. These political and strategic risks often prove far more costly and unbearable than the ship's price tag. Finally, and most fundamentally, we must return to a simple truth: why use a sledgehammer to crack a nut? Globally, what are the core naval missions for the vast majority of coastal nations? Near-shore defense, EEZ patrols, anti-piracy operations, counter-smuggling, and maritime rescue. These tasks demand rugged, durable vessels with high operational readiness and relatively low maintenance costs, such as frigates or even large patrol boats. The Type 052D, however, was designed to serve as the backbone of a major naval powers fleet for regional air defense, anti-ship, and anti-submarine warfare in distant waters. Its advanced radar and weapon systems are engineered for high-intensity combat scenarios. Deploying such a Chinese Aegis destroyer for routine patrols and anti-smuggling operations would not only be a massive waste of its capabilities, but also incur prohibitively high operational costs that would deter any rational decision-maker. This explains why even close partners like Pakistan realistically opt for the more cost-effective Type 054P frigates, while Southeast Asian nations favor light frigates or submarines, weapons that genuinely match their practical needs. So you see, the 052D's zero export record to date is not due to inadequate performance. On the contrary, it stems precisely from being too powerful, too specialized, and too system-dependent. It is a heavyweight vessel tailored for a great power's oceanic ambitions, its might deeply rooted in the industrial infrastructure, talent pool, and strategic requirements of a vast nation. Its lack of foreign buyers reflects the cold reality of the international arms trade. The most advanced weapons are often not commodities, but extensions and symbols of a nation's comprehensive strength. It stands silent sentinel over our maritime borders, quietly conveying a profound truth: true instruments of national power are inherently destined to serve only the mighty homeland that gave birth to them. In a world of calculations, trade-offs, and compromises, its path to circulation is inevitably narrow and rugged.